Muted. Shit. Great start. Amazing. Can we wait for Mel instead of putting info other channels release, please? Yeah, right? Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Have some consideration. Okay, so we're gonna go through this Affidavit stuff. I have no notifications, man. I used up all my notifications yesterday. So please, por favor, if you can help me with the like button, the subscribe button, you can share the stream, tell your friends. iCkEdMeL is the place to be. And I'm hearing that this affidavit is interesting. Apparently. So let's go through some of the snippets first, the little teasers. We'll give people a chance to join and see me online, hopefully. There's a couple of things that I want to show you guys. So good morning, welcome by. Thank you for stopping by. I think it's 19 pages. I feel like we're gonna have to read this slowly because usually I'm kind of like rushing or just trying to get it through. And a lot of times when I'm reading stuff, especially online, I'm not really processing what's being said because I'm just reading, you know. So I'll try to slow it down a little bit if I can. Some of the snippets, some of the interesting things. Let me show you guys this before we get started. One of the things here, it says at approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located on King Road, a residence picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. Wow. How did let's see, let's read that again. At 4:17 a.m., a security camera located on King Road, a residence picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices and a whimper, followed by a loud thud, which makes me think, how in the heezy did the roommates not hear anything? A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. Okay. Another snippet before we get started. Again, if you guys can hit like, I have no notifications. Okay. Breaking: the affidavit has been released in the case against Bryan Kohberger. Still reading through it, but it appears as though the killer left a Kohberger knife sheath behind a single source of suspect profile DNA. As though the killer left a Kohberger knife sheath behind with a single source of suspect profile DNA. Oh, so that's how they got the DNA, I guess. Good morning, Jen Toasty. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. No notifications, man. So I need your help. Please, let me actually put this out on Twitter. Please, if you could, hit like and share it and all that good stuff. Get the thing right here, and then we'll get ready to get started. iCkEdMeL, I didn't know you were live. I didn't know you were live. Link here. Also, let me just update this. Maybe a better thumbnail. All right, so let's get started. You got a notification today? Discord doesn't count as a notification. If you go on your YouTube and you just happen to see that I'm live, that's not a notification. If you click in your notifications area and you see that I'm live, that's an actual notification. But I can tell you for sure I have no notifications. No, none went out. And I can see all the notifications that I have. I can see all the notifications that I have. There's only 3. Those are the ones I already used up my notifications. So nobody got a notification. Oh, you got an email? Okay. Well, you got it through the email then. Facebook. Okay. So those platforms help out. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to my alternate platforms. Either download Discord, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, whatever other platform you have, Twitch, whatever. So you know I'm live on Facebook when I don't have any notifications. You got a YouTube notification? There's no way you got a YouTube notification. I have none. Chat is flying at 1,000 people. It's flying. Oh, you asked to get notified. Okay. Yeah, there's no YouTube notification. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, so let's get started. Yo. Okay, so Exhibit A, Statement of Brett Payne. Okay, Exhibit A, Statement of Brett Payne. The below information is provided by Brett Payne, who is duly appointed, qualified, and acting peace officer within the county of Lada, state of Idaho. Brett Payne is employed by Moscow Police Department in the official capacity or position of corporal, CPL, and has been a trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 4 years. CPL Payne is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and agents of Federal Bureau of Investigation. I'll try to just go for the hyphenations from here on out if I can. And if you're texting me, I'm not going to be able to like reply and do all this shit if I'm reading. Okay, just silence my phone. On November 13, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., the Moscow MPD, Moscow Police Department, Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1122 King Road on Moscow, Idaho, here after the King Road residence, to assist with the scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, ISP forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Officer Smith and I walked upstairs to the second floor. So they must have came in, I guess, through where the surviving roommates lived. And then they walked up the stairs to the second floor. Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kernodle's. Hereafter Kernodle room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body that identified as Kernodle's laying on the floor. So as I approached the room, I could see a body. So in the room, out the room, just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body later identified as Kernodle's laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male later identified as Ethan Chapin. Hereafter Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined. Autopsy report provided by Spokane. Okay. Oh, they redacted some stuff. Okay. County Medical Examiner dated December 15, 2022 to be caused by sharp force injuries. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Goncalves, hereafter Goncalves room. I later learned from review of Officer Nunez's body camera there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to Goncalves and her ex-boyfriend Jack Coeur. I found out from my interview with Jack Coeur on November 13 that that he and Goncalves shared a dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. The bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogen's, hereafter Mogen, bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see two females in the single bed in the room. Both Goncalves and Mogen were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side when viewed from the door. Now, give me a second. That's pretty interesting. So this guy did leave a sheath behind. If you guys could help me out with the like button, please, because I don't have any notifications. So just to get it out to people that may not know I'm live, you know, and if you could share it, I'd appreciate that. And there's also supposed to be, so there is a hearing today. I think it's starting like in 10 minutes, but there is not going to be any live streaming of it out here, but they are going to be a lot to record. And so from what I heard, they're going to be posting it after. So give people a chance to join. If you can hit the like button, share, I'd appreciate it, because I have no notifications, no normal notifications anyway. And make sure you guys follow my alternate social media, so when I do go live and I have no notifications, you guys know. Okay, whether it's Discord, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, whatever it is, you know. Okay, so we're at the sheath. So a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had Kohberger USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA suspect profile left on the button snap of the knife sheath. Wow. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA suspect profile left on the button snap, the little thing you use to like take it out, to like take out the knife that holds it in place. That little button, I mean, I don't know if it's little, but I'm assuming it's little. Button snap of the knife sheath. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by the Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents. Two of the interviews included BF and DM, which were the roommates, and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides, and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the King Road residence. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. On the evening of November 12th, 2022, Chapin and Kernodle are seen by BF at the Sigma Chi House on University of Idaho campus, 735 Nez Perce Drive, from approximately 9 p.m. on November 12th to 1:45 a.m. On November 13th, BF also estimated that at approximately 1:45 a.m., Chapin and Kernodle returned to the King Road residence. BF also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernodle. Goncalves and Mogen were at a local bar, the Corner Club, in Moscow. Goncalves and Mogen can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Goncalves and Mogen can be seen on video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck at 318 Main Street in downtown Moscow. The Grub Truck live streams video from their food truck on the streaming platform Twitch, which is available for public viewing on their website. The video was captured by law enforcement. A private party reported that he provided a ride to Goncalves, so that's the private, whatever that is. Yeah, the guy that gave them a ride from the Grub Truck to the residence. Provided a ride to Goncalves and Mogen at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to King Road residence. DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms, by approximately 4 a.m. Okay. So the roommates made the statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their bedrooms, by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. So that's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated that she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which are located on the third floor. Okay. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Goncalves saying to the effect of, "There's someone here." Oh my God, dude. A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could also have been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using TikTok at approximately 4:12 a.m. So does this throw off the time of the killings a bit? There's someone here. And then a review of the records obtained forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed she could have also been using the app TikTok at 4:12 a.m. Okay. I'm going to take my time a little bit because I kind of rush sometimes and take a little breather in between. So DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying. Oh my God, dude, what the hell? Coming from Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice, something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at the 1112 King Road, a security camera located at the 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up a distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times, starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet away, or 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. So, this is just kind of like, I'm kind of taken back. I'm looking at some of the comments from you guys too. I'm a little taken back because, initially I'm thinking from all the stories and reports that we heard that it's just this quiet night. Nobody heard nothing, and it doesn't seem like that. Even the dog barking supposedly numerous times. I don't know, but let's keep going. DM stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the backsliding glass door. DM locked herself in the room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. What in the hell? I understand being shocked, frozen with fear. I can get that. But what I'm confused about is the time of the call and that the roommates didn't call. So I'm going to read that one more time. DM said that she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM. I wonder why, what made him just like, as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the backsliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. I don't know, man. A combination of DM's statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone, and video of a suspect as described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. So this is a shift, I think, in the timeline, because I thought it was between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. Oh, you think? Oh, maybe he didn't see her. So Donovan says he didn't see her, Mel. Maybe he didn't see her. So yeah, she was maybe shocked and frozen, and this guy's just walking past. Damn. The court is not going to be live, guys. For people that are just joining, they said the court is not going to be. It's not going to be a live stream. They're allowed to record, and they're going to post it after. So. It's confusing, right? Because how does she open her door and just see him too, right? All right, let's keep working through it, and then we'll get to whatever parts we need to get through. And if you guys could hit like, I'd appreciate that, because I have no notifications. So just in hopes that the video gets out to the subscribers, All right, let's keep going. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then an amino black, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans type of shoe sole just outside the door of DM's bedroom. What? Located on the second floor. So she lived on the second floor? Because all this time, I thought we were being told all this time that, what's her name? Dylan, right? Dylan. All this time, we were like told it's the first floor. Thank you, Leon. Yeah, Dylan Mortison. Thank you. Appreciate that in the chat. So, wow, dude. Wow. Let me hold on, let me move the chat over so I can get a clear view of you guys. What I need to pan over. Her room was on the second floor and Bethany was on the first. Okay. I thought they were both on the first. Dylan? I thought DM was on the ground floor too. Wow. Dylan. Femi Creative says, yes, we knew that because the body cam from the party showed one of the rooms on the first floor was a storage room. Oh, okay. I haven't watched any of the body cams. Dylan. Okay. Wow. All right. Let's keep going. All right. So they found this latent shoe print, and this guy that's like been studying all this. It's like I've seen in these couple of podcasts that we listen to, and some of the experts that have said that, like, it's one thing to study like criminology and all that stuff, and then it's another thing to actually act it out and try to get away with the crime. And I remember somebody to refer to it as like having the recipe to something and actually making something, So they found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino black, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern, similar to the pattern of Vans type shoe sole, just outside of the door of DM's bedroom located on the second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. So literally, so this guy, I guess on his way out, he's walking towards the sliding glass and she opens her door and sees him. Wow. As part of the investigation, an extensive search commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvas was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvas was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13 in the area of the King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspect vehicle or vehicles traveling to or leaving from the King Road residence. This video canvas resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential to business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. A review of the camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of the Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. On this video, it appeared the suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. And I wonder if that's required over there in that state. Like Florida, you don't have to have a front license plate. You just need a rear one. I wonder what it's like over there, like as far as do you need to have one. A review of the footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed, maybe they're just saying here that's why they didn't have a license plate number. Maybe they had a vehicle but not a license plate, even though he changed plates apparently after the murders. A review of the footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of the suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes, wow, by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Walton Drive. Based off my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. So because of that, in the time frame, it looks like they were able to deduct pretty easily. It's not like a heavily trafficked area, so it's pretty easy probably to deduce what vehicles to look for. And if this guy, as I said, he made an initial 3 passes. So he's like scouting kind of to me. I don't know. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time. And just real quick, you guys can hear me clearly, right? It's not cutting out or anything like that. Audio good. Make sure we're good here. So he can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning in front of the 500 Queen Road, number 52. Good. Okay, great. And then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Suspect vehicle 1 is seen departing the area of King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Wallenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood, that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame. I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Palouse River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Okay. So he's seen departing the area at 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. So this is after the murders happened. He's hauling ass. Then he's traveling southbound on 1 to drive. Okay. Likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse Drive. Okay. Okay. And we did talk about this too, how a lot of people travel back and forth from these towns. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with the FBI that regularly utilized surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of a vehicle or of vehicles, and he uses database that give visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. That's interesting. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 through 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Upon further review, he indicated it could also be a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. That's amazing, like the resources that they have to try to like identify unknown vehicles. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of vehicle that is a 2011 through 2016 white Hyundai Elantra. Investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University campus located in Pullman, Washington. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as suspect vehicle 1, was observed on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street and north at Northeast Stadium Way. At approximately 2:53 a.m., a white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington towards SR 270. SR 270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. Okay. The camera footage from Pullman, Washington was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. The forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman, Washington as being a 2014 through 2016 Hyundai Elantra. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of suspect vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on WSU campus cameras. Wow, bro. So they got a lot of information. They have a lot of evidence. Not only DNA, which I had spoken to somebody about this DNA thing, a couple of friends, and like the genealogy, like the familial genealogy, which it would be better to get an expert to speak on that, but that usually takes a long time to process, doesn't it? Like familial, like family DNA, like when the person's not in the system, but a family's in there. It usually takes a long time. They did this pretty fast, but maybe using all this other evidence, they were able to. And I really wonder if they're going to talk about cell phone data. We're only on page 9. We're at a 19. It's really, really just interesting to see all this. Let me just take a little second here. Get the super chats real quick. Imperfect Me. They had to lie to us to throw the suspect off as well. He had to have been exhausted after unaliving 4 people back to back. Yeah, probably so. Pigeon Mac, thank you for the membership. 5 months. Thanks for always keeping us updated, Mel. Thank you. Shanna360. I'm here to defend Dylan. Or Dylan, I should say. Sorry, Dylan. She was most likely terrified and in shock. Also, how do we know her cell wasn't charging in the kitchen? She could have been frozen in fear. Yeah. I mean, who's to say how anybody would react? It's just shocking to hear because originally we had thought, like the way the story was going, we had thought that I had thought that they were just sleeping and that they woke up in the morning. Maybe that's why they didn't release the 911 calls. I was just thinking they had slept through everything and they woke up. And so it's a shock, to today to be like, she saw the guy, Okay, so they got this guy after the murders on 5 freaking cameras, which I still wonder about how this WSU campus, these people over there, this guy parked outside of his apartment. We're all looking for a white Hyundai Elantra. Did people report this car? Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. It was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on WSU campus. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located on 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to West Palouse River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Conestoga Drive. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on SR 270. At approximately 5:27 a.m., the white Elantra was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way, at Nevada Drive Street, Stadium Way at Grimes Way, Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. So these are the other just sightings of the Elantra. Depiction showing Moscow Pullman. The hell is that? Page 9. Maybe that's just the PDF or whatever. Let's see if we can get a clear image of that. Depiction showing white Elantra's path of travel, not to scale. Yeah, we can't really see anything on this. Okay. So I will see if we can get some better images of this after. White Elantra seen leaving WSU campus. Okay, I just put it in the admin chat. So we'll see if we can get a better image of this later so we can kind of come back to this and get a nice, clearer visual. So we'll keep going. Oh, yeah, thank you for the 8-month membership. Oh, yeah, says this proves FBI/detectives always know more. True. And I had there's a lot of talk still about these cops that pulled him over twice in Indiana. So the report that I read, it indicates like they didn't know, but some people I saw in News Nation too, they were saying that like the fact that they let these guys go twice, they think that, or they believe that maybe FBI had sent them just to get information, just to track them, to know where they're going, and just let him go. I don't know. And so on November 25th, 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for white Hyundai Elantras in the area. On November 29, at approximately 12:28 a.m., WSU police officer Daniel Tiengo queried white Elantras registered at WSU. Okay. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate LFZ 8649. The vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger. So they were already, this is interesting to find out. There's a whole lot of crap that was going on behind the scenes. So this vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger, hereafter Kohberger, residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201, Pullman, Washington. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way. last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. That same day at 12:58 a.m., WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for a white Hyundai Elantras and located a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra at 1630 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman in the parking lot. Wow. Okay. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman also ran the car and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. I reviewed Kohberger's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. This license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 feet and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he was bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male DM saw inside King Road residence on November 3rd. These people have a lot. They have the DNA evidence. They have video surveillance of multiple sightings of this vehicle. They have DM, which saw this person in the house. They literally stopped this guy in the same vehicle. They literally have the body cams of when police stopped him twice, him and his father driving. They have a whole bunch of ish on this guy. Further investigation, including a review of the Latah County Sheriff's Deputy CPL Duke's body cam and reports showed that on August 21st, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow, Idaho, by Duke. At the time, Kohberger was the sole occupant of the driving. Was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with a Pennsylvania plate LFZ 8649, which was set to expire on November 30th, 2022. During the stop, which was recorded via a law enforcement body cameras, Kohberger provided his phone number as it's redacted 8458. Hereafter, 8458 phone as his cellular telephone number. Investigators conducted electronic database queries and learned that the 8458 phone is a number that is issued by AT&T. On October 14, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop by a WSU police officer. Upon review of that body cam and report of the stop, Kohberger was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with the Pennsylvania plate of LFZ 8649. They have this guy being stopped multiple times, multiple body cams with the same, license plate. On November 18, 2022, according to the Washington State licensing, Kohberger registered the 2015, this was after the murders, registered the 2015 white Elantra with Washington and later received a Washington plate CFB 8708. Prior to this time, the 2015 white Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This was learned through communications with a Pennsylvania officer who is currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania. Based on my own experience and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Okay, so wait a minute. Prior to this, which does not require. Okay. So Pennsylvania doesn't. Okay. Washington and Idaho do. Gotcha. So investigators believe that Kohberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13, 2022 by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. Information provided by a query to a database. They've been doing a lot. Kohberger's Elantra was then queried on December 15 by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. On December 16, 2022, at approximately 2:26 p.m., surveillance video showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The sole occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Kohberger. Kohberger has family in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. Learned through a TLO search and locate tool database query. Based on information provided on the WSU website, Kohberger is currently a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department, we learned that Kohberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also show Kohberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Ooh, so we heard about this. He did apply for an internship. Imagine this guy being in the police force. Kohberger wrote an essay. He had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey, which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize cellular towers in close proximity to King Road residents on November 13 between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., which we've kind of talked about this too, that they can like maybe narrow in the time of cellular phones that were active at the time. After determining that Kohberger was associated to both the 2015 white Hyundai Elantra and the 8458 phone, investigators reviewed these search warrants. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. So it did not show. Did not show. Interesting. So, okay. So what, did he leave his phone behind somewhere? Based on my training, experience, and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of investigations, individuals can either leave their cellular telephone at a different location before committing a crime or turn their cell phone off prior to going to the location to commit a crime. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cellular device associated with them was in a particular area when the crime is committed. I also known that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Depending on the circumstances, this can be done a few days before or several months prior to the commission of a crime. During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual would not leave their cellular telephone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan to commit the offense on that particular day. On December 23rd, 2022, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12th at 12 a.m. and November 14th at 12 a.m. for the 8458 phone held by the AT&T provider, approximately 24 hours preceding and following the times of the homicides. On December 23rd, pursuant to the search warrant, I received records for the 8458 phone from AT&T. These records indicated that the 8458 phone is subscribed to Bryan Kohberger at an address in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, and the account has been open since. June 23rd, 2022. Oh, so it's a recent account. These records also included historical cell site location information, CSLI, for the 8458 phone. After receiving this information, I consulted with an FBI special agent, SA, that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analysis Survey Team, CAST. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical CSLI and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations prior to be certified with CAST, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. Additionally, the FBI CAST SA that I consulted with over 15 years of federal law enforcement experience, which includes 6 years with the FBI. From information provided by CAST, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from November 12th to November 13th, the time period authorized by the court. On November 13th, at 2:42 a.m., the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources that provided coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley, apartment G201, Pullman, Washington. Hereafter, the Kohberger residence. At approximately 2:45 a.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provided coverage southeast of the Kohberger residence, consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the Kohberger residence traveling south through Pullman. This is consistent with the movement of the white Elantra at approximately 2:47 a.m. The 8458 phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in the area without cellular coverage, the connection to the network being disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off. So this guy thinks he's a genius. This guy thinks, the Kohberger, he thinks he's like outplaying the law. Let me just turn off my phone. I'll just do it right before I'll turn it off. And so they'll never have traces of my phone being there. The 8458 phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m., at which time it utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Idaho State Way 95 south of Moscow, Idaho, near Blaine, Idaho, north of Genesee. Between 4:50 a.m. and 5:26 a.m., the phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling south on ID State Highway 95 to Genesee, Idaho, then traveling west towards Uniontown, Idaho, and then north back into Pullman, Washington. At approximately 5:30 a.m., the 8458 phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, and is consistent with the phone traveling back to the Kohberger residence. The 8458 phone's movements are consistent with the movements of the white Elantra that is observed traveling north on Stadium Drive at approximately 5:28 a.m. Based on a review of the 8458 phone's estimated locations and travel, the 8458 phone's travel is consistent with that of the white Elantra. So it seems like this guy must have turned off his phone on the way to there, and then when he left, he turned it back on. I think that's what I'm getting. And this guy thinks he's a genius. This guy thinks he's like on top. He thought he was probably like a criminal genius. He probably thought he committed a perfect crime. And he did a lot of shit that's already known to these people that people tend to do. Further review indicated that the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13, 2022 that are consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the area of Kohberger residence at approximately 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. The 8458 phone next utilized cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling back to the area of Kohberger residence and arriving at the area at 9:32 a.m. So this guy, am I getting this right? He went back the morning of? Phone leaving the area of the Kohberger residence at approximately 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow. Specifically, the phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence. So he went back that morning? That's what it is, right? Was that really? So here's my next question. Well, I don't know at what time. So it couldn't have been the car on video though yet, because police didn't get there until like 11 something, right? Almost 12 p.m. or after 12. This guy went back. So, wow. So this guy couldn't even help himself. He had to go back. Yeah, the curiosity. Yeah, he had to go back. And this time when he went back, he didn't even turn off his phone. Bruh. He probably, I mean, I don't know. What are the reasons? He couldn't help himself. He wanted to see if cops had found it yet. He wanted to maybe get a high out of it. Who knows how many times this guy's probably inserted himself. All right, let's keep going. Took a little break to catch a breather. So this phone leaves the Kohberger residence at approximately 9 a.m., traveling towards Moscow, which is pretty close. And then the cellular resources the phone utilized would provide coverage to the King Road residence at 9:12 a.m. to his phone number. Between 9:12 and 9:21 a.m. So he stayed there for like 9 minutes. 10 minutes? 9 minutes? 9 minutes. At 8:45:58, phone utilized cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling back to the area of the Kohberger residence. So he went there to check it out at approximately 9:32. Below is a depiction, not to scale, the possible route taken based off of cellular site locations. And so let me see if they got any. Okay, they're saying, thank you guys. Thanks to admins. Oh, they deleted the tweet that I was just about to click on. Bryan Enton's tweet. Yeah, it's deleted. Okay, let's see what else, what other updates he provided real quick. Bryan Enton. Okay, he did a new tweet. Real quick, no bail for Kohberger. His attorney asked, but judge denied. Victim's family in front row crying when the names were read. Next status hearing will be 1 week. So I'm assuming it was like a really short, hearing. They asked for bail, got denied, rightfully so, and the victims' families were there crying. I wonder if Bryan's family went there. Thank you. Yeah, the link that I clicked says deleted, but when I go to this page, I see it. All right, let's keep going, and hopefully later we'll see if we can get higher quality images of this. I'm not sure why this looks like that. Oh, maybe. Leon said went back for the knife sheath, knew he messed up. Possibly. Possibly, yeah. All right, so we're almost done with the documents. There's some just really interesting, messed up stuff. A lot of information that we didn't know. Kind of shocked and taken back. And if you guys can hit like, please, just to help out with the stream. I really appreciate you guys coming through because I didn't have any notifications. Some people said they got notifications, but as far as I know, I don't have any YouTube notifications at all. Unless you're on Discord, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, you might have got something through there. So it helps out the stream. So people that are subscribed, as soon as they go on YouTube, they'll see that I'm live or whatever. All right. So investigators found that the 8458 phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th, but investigators do not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. So now we're talking about a different incident, right? Because this whole thing here is November 13th. This is the day of the murders, right? This guy went back. Now we're talking about November 14th. the day after. So investigators found that the 8458 phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14, but investigators do not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. The 8458 phone has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. Oh, so he hasn't been back since. So then to me, this would indicate, because we talked about that, the vehicle being seen on camera on the news. They thought it was that. There's no way it could have been that, because at this time on November 13 at 9 something in the morning, there wasn't any cameras there yet because the 911 call hadn't even been made yet. The 911 call happened, I thought, at 11:56 a.m., I believe. So there would be no cameras there, news media or anything, because at that time, nobody even knew these people were dead besides this guy, you know. So this guy, for some reason, went back. For some reason, this guy, and what the weird thing is, he must have been like going crazy in his head, because the weird thing is, he went through lengths to try to hide his cell phone activity in the area the night of the murders. It seems like by turning off his phone, but then the following day, he doesn't even turn off his phone. Was he freaking out? Did somebody mention like the sheath? Fox. I don't see anything. All right, so we'll keep going through this because we're almost done, and then we'll see if there's any video that they released. Law and Crime is airing the hearing. Let's see. So maybe now, since it's done, they can air it. Let's see. Bryan Kohberger hearing.
Court consider setting a bond. Mr. Kohberger right now behind the bond hold, but it's a limited request.
And Mr. Thompson.
The state's position is Mr. Kohberger is not entitled.
So I'm gonna rewind it just a little bit, and so we can kind of catch what happened.
Fine with the state.
If she died, you have
for asylum. Two things I must be with.
Of the Idaho quadruple murders in court. Bryan Kohberger, let's listen right here on Live Now.
Division of District Court. This is State of Idaho versus Bryan C. Kohberger, cause number CR 29222805. Mr. Kohberger is present in court. He is in custody. He is appearing with his attorney, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, on behalf of the state. This is the time set in the matter for initial appearance. Mr. Kohberger, I am going to advise you of the rights that you have in this case. I am going to go over the criminal complaint with you, and then we're going to discuss setting the matter for further hearing. You have the following rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to the presumption of innocence. That means the state bears the burden to prove that you are guilty of this offense beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing is a probable cause hearing. At that hearing, the state must establish that more likely than not, these felony offenses were committed and you were the one that committed the felony offenses. You have a right to have that hearing within 14 days if you remain in custody. If you are bound over at that preliminary hearing to district court, if the court finds probable cause, you would be bound over to district court. And at that time, you can enter a plea of not guilty, and you can have a jury trial set within 6 months of your appearance in district court. At both your preliminary hearing and your jury trial, you have the right to confront and question any evidence or witnesses called against you. Call witnesses on your own behalf and compel witnesses to be present and testify at the state's expense. You have the right to be represented by a lawyer. If you cannot afford one, one could be appointed to represent you based upon your financial need. You also have the right to appeal any conviction in your case. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
I am now going to go over the criminal complaint with you. Count 1 of the criminal complaint charges you with the felony offense of burglary. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder, in violation of Idaho Code 18-1401 and 1403. The maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is not less than 1 year in prison, no more than 10 years in prison, and or a $50,000 fine or both. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 2 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogen, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogen, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. The maximum penalty for this offense, if you were to plead guilty or be found guilty, is death or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 3 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Kaylee Goncalves, a human being, by stabbing Kaylee Goncalves, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, 4004. Again, the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is death and or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 4 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being, by stabbing Xana Kernodle, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. Again, the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is up to death and or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 5 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died, in violation of Idaho Codes 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. And again, the maximum penalty for this offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is up to death and imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
And Mr. Kohberger, would you like to represent yourself, hire a lawyer, or see if you qualify for court-appointed counsel?
I have court-appointed counsel.
Court has reviewed your application for attorney at public expense. I do find that you are indigent and do qualify for court-appointed counsel. I will appoint Ms. Taylor to represent you in this case.
His voice doesn't sound like those calls people were
Ms.
saying.
Taylor,
though.
have you had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Kohberger about speedy preliminary hearing and setting this matter?
Your Honor, I have. We would ask the court to set a status hearing in a week or two to make a final determination.
Okay. And Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, are you in agreement with that?
That's fine with the state, Your Honor.
I will go ahead and set this matter for a status hearing then on the calendar on January 12th at 10 o'clock a.m. We will make sure notice is sent, and then Ms. Taylor, do you wish to argue bail at this time?
Your Honor, I would like to ask the court to consider setting a bond. Mr. Kohberger right now is on a no bond hold, but it's a limited request as I don't have enough information. We are new to the case. We haven't reviewed very much in the way of information about the case, and we have just begun our own work on the case. But we would want the court to know that Mr. Kohberger has a good family that stands behind him.
And Mr. Thompson.
The state's position is that Mr. Kohberger is not entitled to bond in this case. We can take triple charges, as is noted on the arrest warrant itself. Idaho Code 19-816, 19-2903 both specify that given the potential penalties in this case, there's no right to bail. The defendant was arrested 3,000 miles away across the country, where his family is. We ask that he remain in custody. No bail.
At this point in time, pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 46B and Idaho Code 19-816 and 2903, I am going to leave the bail set of this case as no bail at this point in time until I have additional or further information at a later date and time. So with that, then Mr. Kohberger, you will be remanded in custody and remain in custody on the no bail pending further proceedings in this matter. Is there anything further in the case then for today, Mr. Thompson?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is asking for no contact orders for various family members of deceased and also for the surviving roommates. I've spoken briefly with Ms. Taylor. She indicated there's no objection.
And Ms. Taylor, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
So I will go ahead and issue those no contact orders. So I do have a no contact order then for the named individual of Dylan Mortensen, Bethany Funk, as well as the family members and Mr. Chapin, the family members of Ms. Kernodle, excuse me, yes, Mr. and Ms. Laramie, Mr. Mogen, Ms. Cheeley, and then a number of members of the Goncalves family. Those specific names will certainly be provided to you, Mr. Kohberger, by way of being provided notice of these documents. You'll get a copy of these no contact orders. What you do need to be advised of and what will be in this no contact order is you are prohibited from having any contact with them whatsoever. You cannot contact them through third person in writing or by any electronic means. You cannot Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, use the phone to communicate with them or otherwise any form of communication in direct or indirectly with them. You cannot engage in any conduct that would harass, stalk, threaten, use, attempt to use, or threaten to use any physical force or violence upon them, or place them in reasonable fear of bodily injury. Cannot go within or knowingly remain within 300 feet of their person or their home, workplace, or any other place where they might be. There are no exceptions to these orders. And if you do violate these orders, it is a new misdemeanor offense. It is punishable by up to a year in jail and or a $1,000 fine or both. At this point in time, due to being in the magistrate's division here, at this juncture, I am going to issue the no contact orders for a period of 2 years. And then if it needs to be modified or changed by additional judge, it can be done so at that time. Is there anything further, Mr. Thompson?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further, Ms. Taylor?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned.
And that was the first court appearance in Idaho for Bryan Kohberger. This coming on the day that his affidavit was released, getting a lot of new information. And of course, we will be going through that throughout the day here on Live Now from Fox. But I want to keep our coverage going on this topic that has a lot of people talking. We are now bringing in legal analyst Bryan Silber. Thank you so much again for joining us here on Live Now to really break down. There's a lot of news that came out of this affidavit that we have not heard about yet. So this is a big day, and we just saw Bryan there in the courtroom.
Yeah, absolutely. So my first impression is that, the hearing itself is fairly standard. This happens in every case. The person's brought before the judge, they're advised of their charges. And in any case that has a victim or a victim family involved, the court will almost always order a no contact order. And that's just standard form so that there's no harassing contact. Certainly in a case that involves violence, that is a very normal protocol to have. Nobody should really read into it. That's something that happens literally in every single case, of this type. But I got to tell you, I've seen a copy of that probable cause affidavit. And the one word that comes to mind is bone chilling. That's what I would say about it. It's absolutely bone chilling.
Yeah, I think you
I don't know what that wavy sound is.
pinned it perfect
In the video, I don't know.
there. Bone chilling as is the great word. Let's go through this a little bit from the affidavit. Some of the key takeaways that I saw were that the big one, authorities had this guy pinned just 2 weeks after the November 13th murders there. So when we were seeing these updates from officials, they obviously didn't want to say a lot because they didn't want to tip him off there. But
it sounded like a dryer, right?
Big because they knew who they were looking for really quickly.
They did. And I think if I were to guess.
And by the way, guys, I'm hearing that, let's see. Family attorney of one of the victims is in Idaho Force about to give a statement to the press. We're standing by. So we're going to be waiting for that as well. And thank you. Shout out to the people on Discord. Shout out to the admins.
What the delay was, it takes time for them to get answers to a lot of the things they were looking into. For instance, a DNA lab just needs time to do a DNA test. It's not something that's produced from one day to the next. Sometimes they can take over 30 days to get done. Same thing when they're requesting cell phone data from cellular providers. In that affidavit, a lot of emphasis was given to the location of his cell phone at different times of this case. And again, that's something where you have another company responding to a law enforcement subpoena. They can happen very quickly or they can take time. Again, they may have had to go back. Maybe they weren't given what they needed. So I can see now why it took a little bit of time for them to develop their case before making an arrest.
And one of the other big things that I was seeing, Bryan, so far from this case that is really interesting when you talk about investigations as well. Earlier this week, we saw the two videos from police that he was pulled over when he was traveling with his father there. And now we're being told the new details coming out today is that the FBI requested those pullovers to Bryan there. So that is something big to really take in as well, just to kind of really show how this investigation was going.
Absolutely. At first glance, I really thought the traffic stops had nothing to do with this case because
and that's what I was thinking too, especially after the stuff we read. But now, shit, it seems like maybe it was a part of it. Maybe they were keeping an eye on him. I mean, they had an eye on him before that, his vehicle and everything when he was at WSU. It seems like. I'm just keeping an eye out, and we do have to finish the affidavit. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate. Oh, here we go. This family statement. Here we go. Let's check it out. Got it. Bryan Enton's page.
Shannon Gray, I'm the attorney for the Goncalves family.
Not good quality.
We're not going to be taking any questions at all. It's obviously an emotional time for the family, seeing the defendant for the first time. This is the beginning of the criminal justice system, and the family will be here for the long haul. And that's the statement for the media today. Thank you.
Oh, that's it.
How are you feeling? Yeah, thanks for the heads up. I asked her. That's a big long.
All right, it's a pretty short statement. Sorry, no, just watch your court. Sorry. So we're expecting to get the video from the court hearing soon, and we'll post it. We weren't allowed to put it out live. That was the court rules. So we'll have the video. It was pretty quick. I tweeted kind of the main details. No bond. Kohberger's attorney asked for a bond, and the judge denied it. The prosecutor said, look, we don't want a bond. You know, we found him 3,000 miles away on the other side of the country. He's going to have another hearing, status hearing, in 1 week, and that's when they'll talk about the preliminary hearing. And that was pretty much it. They read the charges. The families were in the front row. Oh, hold on a minute. Hold up.
Shit. Oh, Bryan running. Oh.
I don't know why everybody's running down here. Oh, it's just the family leaving. I'm not going to chase them.
Bro.
So,
hey, run it, bro.
Sorry, what was I saying? Status hearing in a week. That's when they'll discuss the preliminary hearing. At the preliminary hearing, I don't know why people are chasing the family. At the preliminary hearing is when they'll make a plea. He'll make a plea of guilty or not guilty. So that's kind of the latest. Yeah, that's just the family leaving down there. I don't know why they're chasing the family like that, but
go, 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 go. Well, them reporters don't play.
So I tweeted out the probable cause affidavit, and 19 pages, really detailed. DNA evidence connected Kohberger to the crime, as well as all the cell phone records. One of the roommates woke up during the attack, heard screaming, and saw someone in a mask. So definitely, if you've been following the case, read the 19 pages. It's just, I read it really fast on my phone while I was waiting to go into court. So I'm about to go print it out now and go through it word by word. But that's pretty much the update for now. We'll get the video of the hearing out pretty soon, but he was in a red jumpsuit. Basically, he just answered yes to the judge. I saw the sheriff when I was walking out. He said so far everything is normal in the jail with him. I asked him about the vegan diet because in Pennsylvania, they had to give him.
So that's the other thing too. After we finish the affidavit, we just have a couple pages left. Apparently, they're accommodating his vegan diet in there. I didn't know that they did that in the jails or whatever. I didn't know in prison or whatever. I didn't know that they accommodate people's diets and stuff. The only thing is, I don't think they're going to change out their pans, though, like he was requesting the family. All right, do they do that? Do they have a whole separate area for different diets and stuff?
Vegan food, and the judge said that they're going to, not the judge, the sheriff told me they're going to try to do that here, too. He's like, we're not going to get, new pots and pans for the kitchen.
Oh, they're not going to do it. Oh, shit, he's not having that.
Kitchen, but I did tell the kitchen staff, to buy vegan food. It's a really small jail. It's just under the courthouse. Not a lot of inmates, so they're trying to figure out how to deal with the situation too. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get off here. All
right, so they're trying to accommodate the vegan life. All right, so 10 to live channel source code as right. What did she say? I heard she said some stuff about the thing. I didn't get to watch though. And so I did a poll too. Did his voice match the call-ins? Which there was at one point in the live stream where he did talk a little bit more than just hi, but it didn't sound to me like, I don't know. Let me see. Where's the part when he talked?
Guilty or found guilty is up to death to violation with offense imprisonment or zero of else for honor, understand, or be found guilty is death or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Is death maximum violation which is up to Idaho.
I'm not going to spend time looking for it. There was one part where he talked more, but anyway, who knows? Maybe we'll find out more about that. All right. 49% say yes, 51% say no. Typical iCkEdMeL poll. All right. So now we know. Okay, so now we know that let's see, further review indicated that cell phone utilized cellular resources on November 13 that are consistent with the 8458 leaving the area of the Kohberger residence. So we know that he went back to the scene of the crime or that area that morning from his house to the area and then left shortly after, which was weird. And this was before the 911 calls were even made. And this is the maps, which hopefully we get a better image later. And then on the 14th, the day after, his phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service in Moscow on November 14, but investigators do not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. And I wonder why that is. Did connect to the cell phone tower, but investigators do not believe the phone was in Moscow on that date. 8458 phone has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. Based on my training, experience, and the facts of the investigation thus far, I believe that Kohberger, the user of 8458 phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed departing Pullman, Washington, and that this vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. Additionally, the route of travel of the 8458 phone during the early morning hours of November 13, 2022, and the lack of the 8458 phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 a.m. and 4:48 a.m. is consistent with Kohberger attempting to conceal his location during the quadruple homicide that occurred at the King Road residence. On December 23rd, 2022, I was granted a search warrant of Kohberger's historical CSLI from June 23rd, 2022, which is when he first, I think, activated the phone, to current prospective location information and a pen register/trap and trace on the 8458 phone to aid in efforts to determine if Kohberger stalked any of the victims in this case prior to the offense, conducted surveillance on the King Road residence, and was in contact with any of the victims' associates before or after the alleged offenses, any locations that may contain evidence of the murders that occurred on November 13, 2022, the location of the white Elantra registered to Kohberger, as well as the location of Kohberger. On November 23rd, pursuant to the search warrant, I received historical records for the 8458 phone from AT&T from the time the account was opened in June 2022. After consulting with a CAST SA, which is like a special agent, they're specialist in these cell phone stuff, I was able to determine that estimated locations for the 8458 phone from June 22 to the present, the time we do that again. I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from June 22 to present, the time period authorized by the count. The records for the 8458 phone show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to the area of 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13. So that article about his cell phone tapping in the area, pinging in the area, seems to be true. On all these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. So on all occasions except for one, his cell phone was pinging in the area of 1122 in the late evening and early morning hours, which to me is like almost the same time that he went and did these killings. So this guy's been stalking him. Weirdo shit. Not that all this other stuff is not above weirdo anyway, but on these occasions on August 21st, 2022, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources, providing coverage to the King Road residents from approximately 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m. At approximately 11:37 p.m., Kohberger was stopped by the Latah County Sheriff's Department. Duke, as mentioned above, the 8548 phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during this time. Farm Road and Pullman Highway. Further analysis of cellular data provided showed the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13, 2022, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho via Highway 195. At approximately 12:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand located at 810 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef's store located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe showed a white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle 1. Drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at a time consistent with the cellular data from the 8548 phone. At approximately 12:46 p.m., the 8458 phone then utilized cellular data in the area of the Albertsons grocery store at 400 Bridge Street in Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage obtained from the Albertsons showed Kohberger exit the white Elantra. So this is just more evidence. This guy's in this vehicle around these times traveling on video. Shows Kohberger exited the white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle 1. At approximately 12:49 p.m., interior surveillance cameras showed Kohberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items at the checkout, and leave at approximately 1:04 p.m. Kohberger's possible path of travel is depicted below, which we can't really see that great image. So this was on November 13th. So this is after the murders in the afternoon. I wonder what he purchased in the store. Ooh. And it says surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef's store located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe. And so he went to the grocery store. Ooh, hold up. Wait. Does this grocery store... No. This can't be. He wasn't being surveilled at this time. Because I was going to say, does this match up with that lady that had that story? But this is just the day of the murder, so it wouldn't be yet. So he walked through the store, purchased unknown items at checkout, and then left at 1:04 p.m. This is the day of the murders. Additional analysis of records for the 8458 phone indicated that between approximately 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provided coverage to Johnson, Idaho. The 8458 phone then stops reporting the network from approximately 5:36 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That is consistent with the 8458 phone being in the area that the 8458 phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time of the homicide. So Did he discard his stuff in this area? Or what's up with this area? Additional analysis of the 845 phone indicated that between approximately 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provided coverage to Johnson, Idaho. The 8458 phone then stops reporting to the network from approximately 5:36 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Was he getting rid of stuff? What was he doing in this area? That is consistent with the 8458 phone being in the area that the 8458 phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time of the homicides occurred. On December 27, 2022, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from Kohberger family residence, like some people were saying, located in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. That evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. Damn. On December 28th, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of suspect profile. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Based on the above information, I'm requesting the arrest warrant to be issued of Bryan C. Kohberger, 11/21/1994, for burglary at 1122 King Street in Moscow, Idaho, and the 4 counts of murder in the first degree for the murders of Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. I declare under penalty of perjury pursuant to the law of state of Idaho that the foregoing is true and correct. Bro, I have to say, man, these guys, law enforcement, all these agents, they did amazing work. I thought they didn't have much. I was wrong about that. I was thinking they didn't have much. They had a lot. These guys have been putting in work. And they kept a lot of this under wraps, and they handled it the right way until the time was right. They did really good. This is like something you see out of the movies or something, like the way they caught this guy and like they followed him and they got obtained trash from the family's residence to match the DNA. Wow. Yeah, Dad was going hard though. You see, I mean, I try to be like, I don't know, like I can imagine what it's like to go through that, but yeah, Kaylee's dad was like really, I don't know, calling them cowards and like all this kind of shit and like, but these cops were doing good. Cops, they did really good. And they kept quiet. Check DMs. Okay, let's see. So I don't know. Let me see what else is coming out. I don't know what else. Wow. The roommate stuff is pretty shocking too. Let's see what you guys say. Yeah, they did really good keeping all that information in, because they were able to keep an eye on this guy. Still don't know, like, and I still wonder, like, did he just happen to still pick them randomly? Did he just decide to pick them, or was there a reason that he targeted them? Was it just one person? Was it multiple people? You know? And I really wonder what the I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, the whole 911 call thing, that is baffling. That is kind of strange. Like I mean, we can do calls. We can do some calls and stuff for a little bit. It's a lot to dissect, I guess. A lot of information. We can go over some of the things. I have the affidavit, so if we want to go over a couple of things. And as far as like the roommates, I mean, I think people can talk. I don't think we should, like, I don't know, like accuse them, or like go crazy with it. But it is interesting. Like, I could understand the shock thing, but it doesn't make, because, okay, let's look at the roommate thing. I mean, we can talk about it, just not be, it's interesting. It's I don't even remember what page it was on. I could understand the shock and, like, I don't know, being scared. Was her cell phone? But I don't understand, like, no police being called to the next day, like 12 p.m. Like, that's what I'm confused about. I don't get that, or like what somebody said, maybe the cell phone, she didn't have her cell phone on her. Here it is. So, I mean, this is so it says at approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at the 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the north of 1122 King Road. Okay, we got to make sure there's two different things here. A residence at the northwest of 1122 King Road picked up a distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times, starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet away from the west of Kernodle's bedroom. DM stated the roommate, which, by the way, now we know for sure. I didn't know this. People said they knew it because of the body cam. I can still on the chat. That DM's room was on the second floor. One of the roommates lived on the second floor, apparently. And it says here, DM stated she opened her door for the third time, because she had opened her door multiple times, apparently. And also, the other thing is, Kernodle was up. She had got a DoorDash order at 4 a.m. DM said she stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated that she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which are located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Goncalves saying something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of the records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could also have been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. It just makes you wonder too, like, because the time of the They said they believe the time of the deaths occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. So it's like a really small window, like right after they went to sleep. He must have been like watching. And I wonder if they were even fully asleep when the guy came in there. And so DM stated she looked at her bedroom, did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened the door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying from Kernodle's room. That's freaking crazy, dude. Then said she heard a male voice say something, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." What the? And then at approximately 4:17, a security camera, which we just talked about, picked up a distorted audio of what sounded like a voices or whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can be heard barking numerous times, starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. DM stated she opened the door for a third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself inside her room after seeing the male. DM did not state she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. Wow. The male walked towards the back of the sliding glass door. Wow. Somebody messaged me. Oh, I never even saw this. Somebody told me that. I'm not going to say her name, but she told me that her daughter is friends with the surviving roommates. This was November 18. I don't know why I never asked any more questions of this lady. But she said that was in 18. And then she just messaged me now. An hour ago. I'm just seeing this now. Dylan told my daughter about seeing him walk by with a mask on and bushy eyebrows. He did not see her. What she heard and going downstairs to Bethany's room, the police have told the girls not to talk about the case, but girls talk. Shit, I don't know, bro. It's crazy. I think for now I'm gonna leave this at that. We'll see what develops later. We can do calls later. And I'll have notifications later because I think I need to take a little break and I need to go do some stuff with the baby girl. And in about 4 hours I'll have notifications. Let's see what develops, and maybe later we can do a call show and I'll actually have notifications. Let me see what you guys think in the chat. Let me see what the super chats say, and because we're almost at 2 hours. Thank you, Emmy, for the super chat earlier. Courtney, I emailed you an article that said cops asked Indiana police to pull them over to capture pictures of his hands. Oh yeah, you did. Let me see if I can find that. I think I saw that last night. I got a couple things I gotta do too, but we got a lot to talk about. So I will definitely, I'll try to come back later. Courtney. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you for that. I was supposed to mention that. Thank you for that email last night. I'm going to read that next. Damn, some Illuminati shit right there. What the hell's going on with this web browser? Okay, so we'll get that next. Mo, thank you for the 15-month membership. They still have to prove it was him in the car and not someone else using his car and using a knife found in his car. But continue reading. Michelle, thank you for the super chat. Says where it was BF. Let's see. Thank you for the stars, Simone, on Facebook. Leon said who probably went back for his sheath, knew he messed up. Chemo, thank you for the super chat. Says thank you for keeping the chat comments respectful. Thank you to the mods. Kathy has become a member. Mama4, thank you for the super chat. Says thank you, Mel and mods. Mary, the town he went to that day is on a river. I'm wondering if the area that they talked about in that affidavit where he turned off his phone by, like if he did something over there, discarded stuff, evidence over there. Shelly, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, in my opinion, he stalked diff students, potential VIX, brilliant LE, FBI work. Yep. Amy, thank you for the super chat. Says, you think Dylan could ID him if they could ask? Probably. I think that she's definitely gotta be in this trial. She's gonna be probably a witness for sure. DMB Nance, thank you for the super chat. And all this time, the parents thought he was not being investigated properly. Yeah. Well, all the other parents, a lot of them were very supportive of LE. There was one that was kind of going hard on law enforcement. Idaho murders. FBI directed Indiana police to pull over Bryan Kohberger seeking video images of hands. So a FBI surveillance team tracked Idaho quadruple murder suspect Bryan Kohberger and his father on a cross-country road trip from Washington State to Pennsylvania and asked Indiana police to pull him over, a law enforcement told Fox News. So this is very likely true then. The law enforcement source told Fox News that the FBI surveillance team was seeking video images of Kohberger as well as his hands. Bryan Kohberger and his father were pulled over twice on December 15 while making a cross-country trip. The law enforcement source said that investigators were still building their case on December 15 to make an arrest, but added that genealogy played a major role. So they did this. Police were like on point. Police were on point. And then they took DNA evidence from the trash at his parents' house. Bryan Kohberger is charged with, well, we know all this stuff already. During the traffic stop, Hancock Police Department, the Kohbergers discussed an incident near Washington State University where SWAT team killed an armed man amid a standoff. While we're coming from WSU, Kohberger's father, Michael Kohberger, says, "What's WSU?" The deputy says. Both men replied at the same time, and the deputy had a hard time hearing them over the vehicles passing by. So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going where? The deputy asked. We're going to Pennsylvania, Kohberger's father responded. So, cops, they FBI, all these people, they've been on point. And that's a good question. Danger Zone says, why did Dylan just go back to bed? I don't know. What happened in those hours? I don't know. Like, because that's a lot of time. If the murders happened between like 4 and something a.m., the police call happened the next day at freaking 11:56 using the roommate's cell phone. I don't know. There's pieces that were missing. Who knows? Maybe she didn't have her phone on her. Maybe the phone was in another part of the house and she was afraid to leave the room. Maybe she locked herself and barricaded herself in the room until somebody came by, and like, who knows? Maybe a friend or somebody came by. Let me see. Anything else? I think that's it. All right, so I think we'll be done for now. We'll see later. Maybe we'll do some sort of update stream when I actually have notifications. We can do some maybe calls or something. I don't know. What else we got? It sounds like I'm clipping. All right. Somebody said you really need a new mic. It's not as bad as the other day, but you are. Sounds like clipping a bit. All right. Maybe I'll have to look into a new one then. I can do that. I've been wanting to get a new one anyway. Yeah, you just pulled up. Yeah, we've covered a lot in the last 2 hours. We covered a whole bunch of information. So yeah. But all right, I'm gonna head out here, man. I'll probably be back later. Love you guys. Take care. Peace. Bloop, bloop.